Come in from the cold tonight. Leave the world behind you just for a while. The noise of it, the hurry of it, all of it. Let it fall away like snow settling on a windowsill, quiet and forgotten. Tonight, you are somewhere else entirely. Imagine yourself aboard a train from another time. A sleeper car of dark, polished wood and soft brass fittings, climbing slowly into the heart of the Swiss Alps. Outside, a freezing rain hisses against the glass, sleet gathering in delicate white lace at the corners of your window. The mountains are out there somewhere, vast and unseen in the darkness. But in here you are perfectly warm. A small brass heater glows near the floor of your cabin, humming its low, steady song. Thick down duvets are pulled up around you, heavy and soft. The train sways gently beneath you, side to side, side to side. The oldest lullaby there is. Pull the blanket higher. You are safe from the cold. You are cocooned. And tonight, we begin a slow, quiet journey, one that asks nothing of you but rest. Somewhere far below the wheels of your train, the valley is disappearing into darkness. You cannot see it now, not really, only the suggestion of it. A deeper black beyond the black of the night, where jagged slopes drop away into silence. The train has begun its long climb into the mountains, and with every passing minute, the world outside grows colder, wilder, more remote. But you feel none of it. Here, in this small wood-paneled cabin, the air is warm and still. The brass heater by the floor breathes its quiet heat into the room, a low and constant hum, like something alive and gentle keeping watch over you. You can feel the warmth against your feet, rising slowly through the heavy wool blanket, up past your knees, settling into your chest like a held breath finally released. Outside, the rain has turned to sleet. Listen to it now, that fine, glassy patter against the double-paned window, each drop striking with a soft, crystalline sound before freezing instantly to the glass. Along the very edges of the pane, delicate patterns have begun to form. Frost ferns, white branching lace, spreading slowly, silently, climbing the corners of the window like something growing in slow motion, something patient and old. The train sways. Feel it, that gentle, rhythmic tilt, left and then right. The great steel body of the sleeper car rocking softly as it climbs the incline of the St. Gotthard Pass. This has always been a demanding stretch of track, carved through granite more than a century ago, spiraling upward through tunnels bored straight into the mountain itself. But you need not think of any of that now. You need only feel the motion, the gentle sway, the cradle. Your bunk is soft beneath you, the sheets crisp and cool where they haven't yet warmed from your body, and above that coolness, the thick down duvet holds an every degree of comforting heat. You are wrapped, you are held. The freezing rain outside cannot reach you here, not through the steel, not through the glass, not through the layers of wool and down that separate you from the mountain storm. Perfectly warm inside. Let your shoulders soften into the mattress. Let your jaw unclench. There is nowhere you need to be, and nothing you need to do, except exist here, quietly, in this moving room suspended between valley and peak. Somewhere ahead in the darkness, the tracks bend and curve along the mountainside, following a path first surveyed by engineers in the late 1800s. Men who stood in the freezing wind with instruments and paper, dreaming of a way through what had once seemed impossible, a road of iron through solid rock. Tonight, more than 100 years later, their dream carries you gently forward, car by car, through weather they themselves would have recognized. The same icy rain, the same relentless mountain wind. And yet, how different your journey is from theirs. You are not battling the cold. You are cocooned from it, wrapped inside warmth so complete it feels almost impossible against the violence of the storm outside. The brass heater ticks softly as it works, its small flame, or perhaps its glowing coil, you're not quite certain, and it hardly matters, casting the faintest amber light across the cabin floor. That warm glow catches on the wood paneling, on the grain of old oak polished smooth by decades of gentle hands. The sleet is heavier now. You can hear it building against the window, that steady percussion, layered beneath the deeper rumble of wheels on rail, the two sounds weaving together into something almost musical. A storm's rhythm and a train's rhythm, moving as one through the night. At the very edges of the glass, the frost has spread further still. Look closely, if you like, though your eyes may already be growing heavy, and you'll see how each crystalline branch reaches outward from the corner like a slow firework, frozen mid-bloom. It is a kind of beauty that only exists in extreme cold, in the meeting place between freezing rain and warm glass, between the world outside and the world you're safe within. Safe from the cold. The duvet is heavy across your body now, its weight a comfort all its own. The particular, grounding pressure of thick down settling over you like a hand pressed gently to your chest, telling you, rest now. There is nothing to guard against, nothing to watch for. The train knows its way through the mountains. It has made this climb 1,000 times before, through 1,000 storms just like this one. Let your breathing slow to match the rhythm of the wheels. In and out, side to side. The cabin around you holds its steady warmth, unbothered by the freezing violence just beyond the glass. Somewhere above you, the luggage rack holds your things, forgotten now, unimportant. Somewhere below you, the wheels continue their long climb, carrying you higher into the Alps, toward passes and peaks and ancient stone hospices you cannot yet see. But you need not think of the journey's end. Only this moment, only this warmth, only the soft, steady sway of a train climbing gently through a freezing mountain night, while you lie wrapped in down and wool, utterly, completely safe. As the snow and sleet and freezing rain continues to fall outside, you remain here, warm, held, cocooned, and drifting just slightly toward sleep. The train has slowed now just slightly. You feel it in the rhythm beneath you, a subtle easing, as though the great steel body is drawing a long, patient breath before continuing its climb. Outside, somewhere above the tree line, the storm has not softened at all. If anything, the wind has grown louder, a low, constant moan pressing against the mountainside, sweeping sleet across barren granite slopes that no summer has touched in centuries. But high above the tracks, hidden now in darkness and cloud, there is a place that has weathered storms like this one for nearly 1,000 years. Long before there were rails through these mountains, long before steel and steam found their way into these valleys, there were only footpaths, narrow, treacherous, winding upward through passes so high and so cold that travelers often did not survive the crossing. Merchants, pilgrims, soldiers, all of them, at one time or another, found themselves at the mercy of these peaks. The same peaks that surround you now, unseen beyond your frosted window. And it was into this danger that certain quiet men chose to make their lives. High along the old mountain passes, the great St. Bernard, and others like it scattered through these Alps, small stone hospices were built, centuries ago, by monks who dedicated themselves to a single, simple purpose: to keep a light burning in the window no matter the storm, so that any traveler lost in the whiteout might find their way to safety. Picture it, if you will, though gently, without effort, the way a memory might drift up on its own. A small stone building, half buried in snow, its windows glowing amber against an endless white landscape. Inside, a fire burns in a wide stone hearth, and the air smells of wood smoke and melted wax and something warm cooking slowly over the flame. The monks who lived here kept few comforts for themselves. Their beds were simple, their meals were plain, but the lanterns were never allowed to go dark. Night after night, for hundreds of years, someone climbed to the highest window of the hospice and lit a flame, and set it there, facing out into the storm. A single point of warm light in an ocean of freezing white. To a traveler caught in a whiteout, disoriented, exhausted, the cold beginning to close in around their thoughts, that small light was everything. It meant someone is waiting. It meant you are not alone out here. It meant warmth and safety and rest are only a little further now. The monks kept great dogs, too. You may have heard of them. Broad-chested, thick-coated animals bred specifically for this work, trained to move through snow too deep for any man, to find travelers buried by sudden avalanche or lost in the blinding white of a mountain storm. These dogs would work in pairs, sometimes trios, moving low and steady across drifts higher than a person's waist, noses lowered, searching. And when they found someone cold, frightened, barely conscious, they would lie beside them in the snow, sharing their own warmth, while another dog turned back toward the hospice to raise the alarm. It is said that some travelers, rescued this way, later described the moment of waking to find a great warm shape pressed against them in the snow, breathing slow and steady, as the single most comforting sensation of their lives. Inside the hospice itself, the routine rarely changed, winter after winter, generation after generation. A monk would wake before dawn, when the cold was at its most bitter, and walk the stone halls to check each lantern, each fire, each window facing out toward the pass. He would brew something warm, perhaps a dark tea, or broth, or watered wine mulled with whatever spices had made the long journey up from the valleys below. And then he would sit, for a while, near the great hearth, listening to the wind test the shutters, feeling grateful, perhaps, for walls and fire and purpose. Travelers who reached the hospice safely were given exactly this same comfort. A warm meal, a dry bed, a fire to sit beside while the storm exhausted itself outside stone walls thick enough to hold back centuries of mountain winters. No one was turned away. No payment was expected. It was simply understood in that place that warmth was something to be shared freely with anyone who had crossed through the cold to find it. Your train continues its climb now, tracing a path not far from where those old stone hospices still stand, tucked into high passes, some still tended, their lanterns electric now, though no less warm in spirit, still glowing faithfully against the dark. You are not walking through snow tonight. You are not lost, or cold, or searching for a distant light to guide you home. You are already there, already warm, already found, already cocooned beneath heavy down and soft wool, in a small wooden cabin humming gently with heat. But perhaps, as you drift, you can imagine what it might have felt like centuries ago, to see that single amber light appear through a wall of falling snow. The relief of it, the safety of it, that unmistakable feeling of finally being somewhere warm. That is exactly how you should feel now. Safe, found, home. As the sleet continues to fall against your window, and the mountains rise unseen around you, know that this train, like the hospices before it, carries its passengers gently through the coldest nights, delivering them safely into warmth. You are exactly where you need to be. Deep within the mountain now, hidden from storm and sky alike, there is a small stone outpost carved into solid rock. Your train will pass it soon, a brief blur of warm light glimpsed through the darkness of the tunnel, gone almost before you notice it. But for one man, that small outpost is not a passing glimpse. It is his entire world, tonight, and for many nights before this one. Let your thoughts drift there now, gently, the way a candle's light might drift across a darkened room. Picture him, a track walker, stationed alone in this remote Alpine post, deep inside the mountain that the great Simplon Tunnel passes through. His small room is carved from stone and lined with old timber, warmed by a cast iron stove that glows a soft, steady orange in the corner. Outside his narrow window, if it can even be called a window, more a slot cut through rock toward the outer air, the storm rages on, indifferent to depth, indifferent to darkness. But down here, in this small pocket of warmth hollowed from the mountain's heart, the world is very quiet. It is evening now, in his world as in yours, though time moves differently underground. He has just finished his rounds, walking the length of track under his care with a lantern in hand, checking the rails for ice, for debris, for anything that might trouble a train passing through in the black of night. It is careful, unhurried work. He knows every meter of this stretch of track the way you might know the rooms of a childhood home by feel almost more than by sight. Now, his rounds complete, He has returned to his small stone room, and he is making coffee. Listen to the sound of it, if you can imagine it. The scrape of an old iron pot against the stovetop, the slow trickle of water, the particular metallic hiss of liquid meeting hot iron. He measures the dark grounds by habit, without needing to think, the way any task becomes gentle and automatic after years of repetition. Soon, the smell of strong, dark coffee fills the small room, rich, slightly bitter, entirely comforting. He sits, finally, in a wooden chair worn smooth by decades of Watchmen before him. The stove ticks and glows beside him. Somewhere far above, sleet batters a mountainside he cannot see and does not need to. Down here, there is only warmth and quiet, and the particular, settled comfort of a man who has made peace with solitude. This is not loneliness, you understand, not exactly. It is something gentler than that, a kind of companionship with silence itself. He has grown used to the mountain's moods, the way the wind sounds different before a heavy storm than after one, the way the rock itself seems to hum, faintly, when a train approaches from far down the line, long before any sound reaches human ears. Before drinking his coffee, he checks the gauges, old brass dials mounted along one wall, needles trembling slightly, measuring pressure, temperature, the countless small vital signs of a mountain railway that must never be allowed to fail. Everything reads as it should. Everything is safe. He allows himself, then, a long moment of stillness. This is perhaps his favorite part of the evening, the pause between task and rest, when the coffee is hot in his hands and the stove is warm at his back and there is, for a little while, nothing at all that needs doing. Between trains, the silence up here is almost absolute. Not the ordinary quiet of an empty room, but something deeper, the profound, layered silence of solid rock and high altitude, of a world so far removed from cities and noise that silence itself becomes a kind of presence. He thinks sometimes of the men who built this tunnel, how many years it took, how many lives were spent boring this passage through solid granite, so that trains like yours might glide safely beneath mountains too vast and too treacherous to cross any other way. He feels, in his quiet moments, a certain kinship with them, a shared understanding that some work exists simply to keep others safe, unseen, unglamorous, essential. The coffee is nearly finished now. He sets the cup aside, and for a moment simply listens. Far off, deep in the rock, he feels it before he hears it, the faint, familiar vibration of an approaching train. Your train. He does not need to check a schedule to know this. He has felt this particular rhythm 1,000 times before, and he recognizes it now the way you might recognize a friend's footsteps on a stair. He rises, unhurried, and steps to his narrow window to watch the light approach, first a distant glow, growing steadily brighter, until at last your train passes through his small stretch of tunnel in a rush of warm windows and soft golden light, gone again in moments, swallowed back into darkness. He does not know you. He will never know you. But in that brief instant, as your lit window flashes past his narrow outpost, there passes between you something quiet and wordless, one traveler glimpsing another, each safe in their own small pocket of warmth, carved out against an indifferent mountain night. He returns to his chair. The stove still glows. The coffee cup still holds its last, cooling inch of warmth. Outside, the storm continues, unseen and unheard within these thick stone walls. And you, carried onward now, deeper into the mountain, deeper into the night, drift a little further from waking, and a little further into rest, held by the same profound stillness that surrounds him. Two small warm rooms, side by side in the vast darkness of the mountain. Both safe, both quiet, both, for tonight, exactly where they need to be. The train is entering the long tunnel now. You feel it before you understand it, a subtle shift in the air, a change in the sound of the wheels beneath you, the sleet against your window fading until it disappears completely. The storm, with all its fury, with all its freezing rain and howling wind, has simply ceased to exist. In its place, a deep, enveloping darkness and silence so complete it feels almost like a physical presence settling over the cabin. Look, if you like, toward your window, where moments ago there was frost and sleet and the faint suggestion of mountain darkness beyond. There is now only black, smooth, endless black, broken only by the reflection of your own small reading lamp glowing warm and amber in the glass. The mountain has closed around you completely now, thousands of tons of granite and stone pressing close on every side. And yet, somehow, this does not feel confining. Feels like being held, cocooned. That is the only word for it, really. Wrapped so completely in warmth and stillness and quiet that the rest of the world simply falls away, layer by layer, until nothing remains but this small, glowing room, and you, safe within it. Notice the quality of light around you now. Your reading lamp small, brass, its shade the color of old honey, casts a gentle circle of warmth across the cabin. The wood paneling glows softly in this light, grain and knot and polish all rendered in shades of amber and deep brown, like the inside of some great old instrument, cello or violin, built for resonance and warmth. The duvet is heavy across you still, heavier now, it seems, than before, or perhaps it is simply that your body has sunk more fully into it, every muscle finally, completely surrendering its tension. Your shoulders have softened into the mattress. Your hands rest loosely atop the blanket, or perhaps tucked beneath it, wherever feels most natural, most safe. Outside, though outside means something different now, doesn't it? Wrapped as you are inside a mountain, the rain has become nothing but a distant memory. Even if traces of it remain somewhere above, seeping faintly through impossible layers of stone, you cannot hear it. There is only the steady, muffled rhythm of wheels on rail, softened further by the tunnel's close embrace. A sound so constant and so gentle it has become almost like breathing. In and out, side to side, you are perfectly warm inside. You are safe from the cold. Let those words settle over you now, the way snow settles over a quiet field softly, completely, without hurry. Somewhere above you, mountains you will never see stand silent under a storm that can no longer reach you. Somewhere ahead, the tunnel continues on, carrying you gently through the very heart of the Alps, toward a destination that does not matter tonight. Only the journey matters now. Only this warm and moving stillness. Only the soft, unhurried passage of time inside a small wooden room built long ago for exactly this purpose. Rest. The heater by the floor continues its low, familiar hum. A sound you have come to know now, this last hour, the way one comes to know the presence of a trusted companion. It asks nothing of you. It simply gives, steadily, quietly, its gentle warmth rising up through wool and down to settle against your skin. Your eyelids, if they are not already closed, grow heavier now. There is nowhere to be, nothing to watch for, no storm to weather, no cold to guard against. Only this, the rhythmic sway, the amber glow, the profound and total safety of being held, cocooned, cradled through the mountain's dark heart. Think, if you like, of everything this night has carried you through, the freezing rain against your window, transformed now into delicate frost patterns you can no longer see but which linger still, somewhere behind you, in the darkness of the storm above. The old stone hospices, their lanterns burning through centuries of mountain winters, guiding travelers home. The quiet watchman, deep in his rock-carved room, sipping coffee in the vast silence between trains. All of it distant now, all of it part of a journey drawing gently toward rest. You need not think of any of it any longer. You need only feel this, the weight of the duvet, the warmth of the small brass heater, the steady, cradling sway of the train as it carries you through darkness toward morning. Your breathing has slowed to match the rhythm of the wheels. Your body has grown heavy, sinking fully into softness, into warmth, into the particular stillness that comes only in the deepest, safest kind of rest. Timeless, this feeling, unhurried, complete. The tunnel continues on, patient and dark, and you continue with it, cocooned in silk and wool and amber light, cradled by a rhythm older than memory. Nothing can reach you here. Nothing needs to. There is only warmth, only safety, only the soft, steady murmur of a train moving gently through the mountain's heart, carrying you, without hurry, toward sleep. And so, the journey continues on, quietly, through the dark heart of the mountain. You need not stay awake to see where it leads. The storm has long since faded into memory. The hospice lanterns still burn somewhere in the high passes, patient and eternal. The watchman still sits beside his glowing stove, content in his solitude. And you remain here, cocooned in warmth, cradled by the slow, steady sway of wheels on rail. Let your breathing grow slower now. Let your body grow heavier, sinking fully into softness, into the deep down comfort that has held you this entire night. You are safe. You are warm. You are exactly where you need to be. There is nowhere left to travel tonight but into sleep itself, gentle, unhurried, complete. The mountain will keep its silent watch. The train will carry you onward, through darkness toward morning, without needing you to stay awake for any of it. Rest now. Let go. Sleep, cocooned in warmth, safe from the cold, timeless and still, all the way until morning light.